kind of answer some questions, see your comments, because we can't see your faces. Y'all see our faces. Apologies.
Well, for me, I'm just so excited so many people showed up to see me. I didn't even know you were going to be here, right?
I know.
I didn't even know you were going to be here.
No idea. I think I had
This is amazing. But thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. The least I could do. So I wanted to start out, before I get to questions, I want to start out with kind of what my journey was to get here. And long story short, as a lot of y'all know, a little pandemic kind of thing started about this time last year, and I was on a show called Supernatural, and we had 2 episodes left to film before we finished our 327 episode, 15 and a half year run, which
an accomplishment right there.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. Even more so now than when I was even on it. But it was a difficult time for me. You know, they on Friday, March 13th, for you Friday the 13th fans out there, they sent us home from Canada to Texas because we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if the borders were going to close. No one really knew yet. You know, I'm sure you all remember a year ago, and nobody really knew what to expect. So they sent me home, and then I got home and was sort of like, okay, I don't know what to do. So I enjoyed a few days of going like, oh, we'll probably can go back to work in a week or maybe 2 weeks if it's really crazy. And weeks and weeks and months passed. And for me, it was a pretty difficult time. I was home, I was excited, but I was kind of like grieving the loss of the show, grieving the loss of my character, which hadn't happened yet. And I still hope we come back. So make your comments known to the awesome people at WBNCW. But long story short, I just kind of lost direction to some degree. You know, I was here at home, but I didn't really know how to do things at home. You know, Jen had done it all for years and years and years, and I had kind of been in a different country playing pretend. And, you know, I stopped shaving. I probably missed a couple of showers, maybe a couple more than a couple of showers, but I just sort of felt really lackadaisical. And like all of a sudden I had all this time that I hadn't had in 20 years, you know, because I'd done Gilmore Girls for 5 years before Supernatural. And so I was just used to kind of go. And I sort of just became a bit of a sloth or a slug. And I couldn't really I couldn't figure out why I didn't feel like doing anything. And it took my doctor, who I have been working with for almost 7 years, to say, you know what, I think you're depressed. And I was like, but I don't feel sad necessarily. I just don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to play with my kids. I don't want to go work out. I don't want to go for a walk. And it was the first time I had kind of had a bout of depression since I kind of admitted about having dealt with depression many years ago. You know, it had been years. And that kind of kicked me in the butt a little bit. And Jen had the good sense to go like, you know what, let's get out of here. Like, let's load up some suitcases, get in the truck and go for a drive. You know, we'll figure out where we can stay that's the safest, and we can have masks. We all had masks and gloves. And we're very responsible about it. But when I got back from that road trip that I think some of you might have seen pictures of, I was the guy who looked like Grizzly Adams, who looked like I had kidnapped a beautiful family. It was like Jen and Tom and Shep and Odette, and then me like lumbering in, probably stinky and beard out to here. And a buddy of Jen's had gotten some supplements for me from a company called Mantra. Rise, Go, and Rest. And my first thought was like, oh man, I mean, doing what I do, I've had a lot of different supplement companies over the years go like, hey, try our stuff and we think you'll like it. And you'll get swole, you'll get jacked, or you'll get shredded and ripped.
You might even get good looking.
You might even get good looking. No one tried to tell me that. They knew that was a bridge too far. But I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. At this point in time, it was like late July, early August, and we were about to fly back up to Vancouver, and so I guess it was like mid-July actually. And I got it. And I was like, I'll give it a shot. You know, it's simple. It says take Rise in the morning, take Go if you need a little caffeine boost sometime during the day, a little mental boost, a little clarity, a little more energy, and take Rest at night. And I was like, well, this is pretty plain and simple. And I started reading about what the company was doing and really promoting mental health and giving back to charities from day one. And I was like, this is really cool. I used it for a couple of days and really dug it. Like I felt motivated. I felt alert and awake and aware and present during the day. And I was like, I want to learn more about this. And it turns out that our mutual friend had a friend named Paul.
This guy?
This guy. And they put us in touch, and Paul and I met and talked about the company and what its message was and what it wanted to do and what it intended to do in the future. And I fell in love, and I said, hey, I really want to be a part of this. You know, doing what I do in film and in TV, especially, for a lot of my career and basically my entire adult life, I was more concerned with what you see in advertising. You know, you see, take this product and go bench press 500 pounds, or take this product before you eat and you'll have an 8-pack, you know? So, and it just was this really bad kind of peaks and valleys for me, which doesn't help if you also deal with anxiety, to have like a crazy peak of like, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna kill it, I'm gonna be an animal. Or if you're like, well, I'm not gonna eat so I can kind of, you know, there's all this stuff we all see about like make crazy gains. And then once you've made crazy gains, it's like, okay, we'll lean up and show off those crazy gains. And I was just sick and tired of that cycle of like, I want to look like this, I want to look like this, I want to look at this, I want to look like this. And so I feel like, you know, when I got into the industry, I was just a 17-year-old out of San Antonio, Texas, and I was really concerned with what people thought. You know, I thought that a TV actor should look a certain way or should act a certain way. And so I was like, how do I look? How do I look? But I didn't really understand until I got a little bit older that it's more important how I feel. And if I feel my best, no matter what I'm seeing in the mirror, I'll be a better person, a better actor, a better father, a better husband, a better friend, family member, brother, son. And so I was so concerned with kind of the what I thought the product, or what the packaging was supposed to look like, that I didn't really pay attention to what the product felt like. In this case, the packaging being like, hey, this is Jared Padalecki, actor, and he's gonna, you know, scowl at the camera and look cool or something. But then I would go home and feel like crap, physically and mentally. And so using the products that we offer now at Mantra really helped me kind of change my focus to how I feel. And not to say that that doesn't also have an obviously positive effect on how you look, because you feel alert and ready for the day, and you sleep well, and you feel like, you know you're giving back. Every time I open up my Rise packet in the morning, I think like a portion of this is going to a mental health charity, and it kind of makes it taste a little bit better, even though it already tastes great. But that's kind of how we got here today. That's kind of how I got here today. And I see some messages coming in. They're coming in sideways. So I'm going to check my neck flexibility. Did you want to say anything?
No, I mean, that is an awesome summary. I mean, it kind of parallels our journeys, kind of brought us together here at the right time, at the same time. Mantra got developed when I was going through a depression without a whole lot on my plate to look at, and really discovered that it didn't matter what you looked like if you felt like crap when you did it, right? Mm-hmm. And that there was no system of nutrition out there. That the goal was to celebrate the journey and celebrate moving more into who you are, versus telling you need to change and you need to do this to feel good about yourself, versus starting where you are and growing from there. And then it really became about building those habits, right? Rise, go, and rest. And Jared and I have gone deep into health, blue zones, longevity, happiness, and really it's about movement, rest, and community, right? So where we can support those three things, as Jared said, you end up being a happier person. Happiness is not the goal. Happiness is a byproduct of doing things for others, taking care of yourself, taking care of your community. Yeah. So it's about eating well, sleeping well, breaking a sweat each day, and enjoying that journey, not just killing yourself to get to some end, right? Because we've all seen that we reach a plateau and we thought we'd be happy when you were the star of
when you looked like
Supernatural,
this, or when you had this on your resume or whatever.
And ask anybody that's been there, and they'll tell you it doesn't work. So you've got to celebrate the journey, and that's what Mantra is about moving more towards the journey and enjoying that, and understanding that it's habits, and how you live your days is how you live your life, right? So our lives are just decisions. That's all they are. And when we break it down to that, how do we make better decisions? How do we be kind? Kindness is always a choice. Being active is a choice. Taking care of others is a choice. So it's really building a brand around lifting up ourselves and
Supporting,
those we're around.
Yeah.
And nutrition makes a difference. What you put into your body, one of the best quotes I've heard is, food is data. What you put in your body is telling your body either good or bad things, right? So you don't have to start with mantra. What you should start with is a glass of water, a walk around the block, and a little bit of exercise and movement. From there, then start optimizing with hydration, nootropics for focus, energy, rest, but really whole foods, water, and some exercise. Yeah. And then jump on the mantra bandwagon.
And happiness is a process. People think of happiness as a thing. Like once I have this much money in the bank, or once my house looks like this, or once I have this many episodes of television, or once I make partner, or once I'm head barista, or whatever it is, like then I'll be happy. But then you get there and you realize, well, this, now what? And so happiness, like science, is a process. What makes you happy today is not going to be the same thing that makes you happy in 12 months from now. No feeling is final. So we all have good days and feel like we're on top of the world. Then we have bad days and feel like, man, I don't feel like I could do anything right. And so understanding that it's a long-term process, and it's not one of these kind of fads that you see on TV or in magazines where it's like, hey, get jacked and get 20-inch arms and think how awesome life is going to be, and you'll be happy forever, and you'll just feel cool because you have a vein in your bicep or whatever. It's more about like, hey, do I wake up and feel like I'm trying to better myself, no matter where you are. If you've never worked out a day in your life, or if you can't right now walk around the block, can you stand up and walk in place? Can you work on your breathing? And part of that is a lot of us have the desire, and a lot of us have maybe some motivation there somewhere in our heads, but we think like, well, I just feel a little sluggish today, so we don't do it. And mantra for me, especially after 4 pandemic months of, like I said, just like eating the kids' quesadillas and chicken tenders, I was like, man, I don't want to get back at it. I'm tired anyways. I haven't really been doing anything because we haven't been allowed to be doing anything, so I haven't really left my house. That made me feel good enough to go like, you know what? I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something today. If I can get on my bike, or if I can walk around the house, or play with the dogs, or take some time. And people say, that's being selfish, if you take time for yourself, but I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like if I can give myself some time, then I can be a better friend, business partner, again, husband, father, son, family member, whatever. And so that is that's how I started getting really passionate about mantra. I'm gonna try and look at some of these questions.
Yeah, see if you can.
I see them coming in.
Turn your head sideways.
I'm trying. We didn't figure out. This is not our specialty. This is really amazing, and that is a great explanation, Jared. Thank you so much. Thank you back. Something Obama went away. I'm down giving it a shot. Awesome. Any advice for anxiety and how to stop doubting yourself? Also, love you, Jared. Thanks for being so open about mental health. That was from Grace Williams, .1. Grace, great question.
Great question, yeah.
Really great question. And I have done a lot. I've been fortunate enough to be able to work with a doctor and with family and friends who understand. For me, and I might be borrowing this quote, so forgive me, I'm not trying to steal somebody's quote, but I try and think of anxiety as a passenger in my car who's there. And I can either focus on that passenger, or I can focus on where I'm going. And so I've learned, and I'm still learning how to hear anxiety, but how to know that I don't have to listen to anxiety. So it's there. And for me, depression was a kind of a spotty situation. I wasn't always depressed when it hit pretty bad because I would believe it. Anxiety has been with me the whole time. And so it's something that I can hear, but I don't have to listen to it. It's a song on the radio that I don't like, but I know I don't need to change a channel. It can just be on. And so I'm working on that every day. And one of the things that helps me with anxiety is feeling like I have a purpose. I want to, if I am married with kids, so I can choose to be a better husband. I can choose to be a better father and try and take active steps and be present. But if you're not married with kids, or you don't have coworkers currently because the world kind of exploded over the last several months, and if maybe your friends are far away, or you're on the outs with your friends, you can be a better person to yourself. I think a lot of people, especially a lot of our mantra family, understand the importance of kindness, but I think a lot of people out there who haven't really worked on it don't yet realize how important kindness is to yourself. We all know, the golden rule, like treat others how you want to be treated, but you should also treat yourself the way you want to be treated. So, don't look in the mirror and be mean to yourself. Don't wake up and feel bad about yourself. And if you find ways to feel like you're on the path to being who you want to be, then you define you. So get up and do what you want to do to be the best version of you, and you can do it.
Yeah, it's one small step after another. I mean, I would say the other thing is talking. You don't have to be perfect, and mental health and anxiety kind of goes with what Jared said. It's a spectrum, right? No one is perfectly physically healthy, and no one's perfectly mentally healthy, right? Just look at it as a spectrum and address it on a daily basis, one step after another.
Yeah. Okay, let me see more. I see.
Get better at this.
I know. We're gonna have to figure out how to. Thank you for your amazing.
Folks, the phone is held up with some paper now as well. So
this
it could
is
fall
totally,
at any. It could fall at any minute.
You would think we know how better to. Here, I saw something. Jared and Paul, how do you cope when anxiety hits suddenly? I love you, Jared, so much. Underscore Rabiage underscore. I love you back. How do you cope with anxiety? I kind of touched on how I do. How do you?
Exercise is a big one, right? I mean, understanding whether it's just a walk or taking a break, and sometimes it's throwing yourself into working hard on something worth working hard at. That's where mantra came from. The biggest thing is I realize it's all habits. You can get yourself in a negative habit loop with anxiety, and I think you told the joke about I didn't shower this morning, so I'm just going to eat pancakes and I'm going to eat cake, and it's a downward spiral by noon, right? So really understanding how to stop that, take a breath, that it is like a passenger in your car, or your thoughts are moving cars. You don't have to jump in every one that goes by. I think that's Pima Chodron that does that one. But really just perspective helps a lot, and just taking 10 seconds and taking a break for it. I mean, exercise helps a lot, and doing whatever you can to stop that negative habit loop and turn it into a positive habit loop. And we'll be talking a lot more about that in the future, but
for sure,
it is small decisions and understanding. Jared and I are both a big fan of The Daily Stoic, a book by Ryan Holiday. And the basis of Stoicism is not that I have no emotions and I'm stoic. It's been used the wrong way, but it really is understanding what's in your control and what's not in your control. And what's not in your control is your parents, what people think of you, what the weather is, whether we have COVID pandemic. But what's in your control is the decision that you make and how you react to what's going on. And if all of our energy, so much of energy is spent on things outside of our control. If we spent our energy on what's inside our control, the world becomes a pretty beautiful place at that point, because we're not a victim of everything else. And we don't have that anxiety. Anxiety comes a lot from trying to control things that you can't control, right? Whether it's your kids, your wife, your friends, the economy. So it's really understanding that piece, and daily mantras, no pun intended, but reading the Daily Stoic and understanding how do we make this a practice every day. Yeah,
and a lot of, I agree all around. And a lot of what I try to tell myself and tell other people is that you right now, wherever you are, whether you're at work, skipping away to hang out with Paul and me, or you're at home, or you catch this in an hour or two, sitting, standing, working out, you right now are who you are supposed to be right now. The way you were born, the way you were raised, the opportunities you had, the hard work you did, and forgiving yourself. And if there are habits you have, these small habits that maybe lead you towards listening to that anxiety passenger in your car more often, then try and figure out how to change that, and how to be really compassionate with yourself and understand yourself and support yourself. And here at Mantra, one of the messages that we really want to talk about, what Paul was saying about community, is a community is supportive, and we're positive, and we support you in your journey, whether you're an ultra marathoner with an 8-pack or whether you've never run a quarter mile and you'd like to lose some weight. If you'd like to lose some weight, great. Good for you. We support you on that journey. If you'd like to gain some weight, great. Good for you. How can we be your support and make you feel your best? And how can you then pay it forward and make others feel their best? And so I think the idea of maintaining that sense of self where you look at yourself as if you've never met yourself before. And, a lot of, there are always people who say bad things to anybody. But I've been fortunate that I've been around a lot of supportive and positive people who will just say like, hey, I got your back. It'll be okay. But say that to yourself. Like half of the people, I heard some comedian sometime say, like he said he was a kind of an angry driver, and he was like, man, the things I say in my car to other people in cars who can't hear me, if I imagine seeing them into an elevator with a person that I've never met, like I would never do that. Like you'd never go like, learn how to drive, you suck. You're like, if you walked into an elevator and saw somebody and be like, learn how to stand, you suck, you'd be like, oh man. Like that was really mean. I shouldn't say that. But taking that forward, you shouldn't say that to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. There are going to be missteps or hiccups, and there are going to be some setbacks, whether they're your own because you skipped something you should have done, or whether they are, we had a snowpocalypse here in Texas a couple weeks ago, which kind of got us delayed a little bit in some plans. But the whole world is going through this crazy pandemic right now. So there will be hurdles along the way, some self-imposed and some that you have no control over or no vote in. And so just forgiving yourself for those missteps and getting back on the path.
And forgive us, the wellness challenge is coming. We're
going
to get there. We got a little off track on it with the snowpocalypse that we had here.
Pipes exploding and
it is coming.
Roofs falling, so everything breaking everywhere.
And the hoodies are coming.
And the hoodies are coming.
A few comments coming through about that. The hoodies are coming as well. Everything is running slower with COVID. We're getting them done for you.
Also with the hoodies, as y'all know, I love hoodies. And I haven't told Paul this yet, but I've actually been intercepting all of the hoodie orders and just holding them for myself. So
that's that truck out
I'm
there.
hoarding hoodies.
Fair enough. So you can come by Jared's house.
Apologies. Come on over. I'll hand you one. Do you find, Christina S.25, do you find it's okay to take that time to just be sad? I know for sometimes just letting myself cry really helps. It allows me to move past that feeling a little faster. Christina S.25, absolutely. I am not ashamed to admit that I'm a crier. It feels great sometimes, but I will say this: when you have to have one of those cries, or you just go, I'm going to find a quiet place and just, I've got so much going on. I just need to kind of let it out. It's kind of like a workout.
I cry after working out with Jared too, so that's another crying moment.
And during the workout. But remind yourself when you're shedding those tears that you need to shed that no feeling is final. So,
that's a great point.
You're sad right then, and understand it, see it, and do the best you can to let it go. Because I hope you have days also where you feel like you just want to smile all day, and that's okay too. That they're both important. Feelings are so personal, and sometimes they're inexplicable. I talked about that when I first kind of mentioned that I have anxiety and depression. And some people were like, "What do you mean? Like you're the lead of a TV show. Like you got a beautiful wife and healthy kids. How can you be anxious?" And I would kind of internalize that and be like, "Yeah, I'm not allowed to be anxious. I shouldn't be anxious because I have so many blessings and good fortune." But then I started to understand, and it's a process like happiness, that feelings don't need to be explained. They need to be looked at, and then understood that it's not the final feeling you'll have. So just keep moving forward. I know you will.
That's great. I know we're almost out of time.
Are we? Okay.
We've run almost 30 minutes.
Okay, well, we're going to do one more.
Yeah, let's do it.
I just made it smaller. This is the best question. Jaris Jen, Jaresjen. Is it bad that I'm choosing this live over sleep? It is not bad at all. We're choosing it over sleep too, because we could be napping also.
It's a good day to nap too. It's a little dark and rainy.
Yeah, I don't know where you are right now, but thank you for joining us. I think Paul mentioned, I think we're probably taking a lot of y'all's time. Thank y'all so much. We look forward to telling you more about our journey, more about what's coming up. We're going to get to the Wellness Challenge.
Working on a ton of new products that have been asked for as well.
I'm really excited about.
Stay tuned. And kind of going back to what Jared said is whether you're just starting out or whether you're a pro athlete, we have customers at both ends of the spectrum. We all have bodies. There's certain science that supports that natural biorhythm and your hydration and your mental health and your physical health. So the products work whether you're just starting out, whether you're a marathoner, a sprinter, or an Olympic athlete. Everyone has that same basic chemistry, and we're here to make that happen and help uplift you both mentally and physically.
Yeah, sending love to wherever y'all are.
I've seen a lot of Brazil. Obrigado.
Obrigado. Maravilhoso. All right, love y'all. Whatever language, whatever city, and whatever state or province or country all over the world. Thank y'all so much for your time. We will be back. So until then.
Oh yeah, and you have your SPN Family 25.
That's right, yes.
SPN Family 25 will take 25% off every purchase. I'd be remiss if I didn't put that in there.
Yeah.
But seriously, try it out. Hope you love it. Any questions, let Jared and I know. We're here to support you on your journey.
Yeah, and from day one, a portion of all proceeds go to help support those who may not be able to help themselves with different mental health charities. So know that you're doing good for yourself and you're doing good for others.
And talking saves lives, so keep talking, people.
All right. Love y'all. Now I don't know how to turn it off.
Now grab it and you can give a kiss. Right?
Is this COVID free?
It's on. There you go. Let's see.
Bye guys.